Well, they're all not as pretty, ouch, as we would like them to be sometimes, but, and a lot of that had to do with Penn State. They were terrific, really made us uncomfortable, with their defense, and then really made us uncomfortable as they just put their head down and continued to attack us all night off the bounce. And so, turned the ball over too much. I thought in the second half, though, we took way more pride. I think we got a little, we played mad, which was good. And I thought Sid Parrish was a great spark for us, just trying to will our team with hustle plays. I thought Lexi came in from on the defensive side and was really good. We've got to be able to turn it up in practice and be so much better against a team that pressures the way Penn State did tonight and be able to handle ourselves better. We also have to be so much better defensively and, take more pride in just guarding one-on-one. We just didn't adjust. We stood around a lot. We were in our gaps. We didn't try to give any kind of support, to our teammates. We got a little bit better in the second half, but just by a little. And so we'll have to go back and watch film and watch ourselves standing around and realize that when teams want to put their head down and go downhill, how we have to adjust to that is by being in more of a support role for our teammate. And so we'll learn from that. But that's a great Penn State team that plays hard. Carolyn's done a great job with them. And, they're going to, now that they got Marissa back, they're going to win games.
Teri, you seemed like your team came back out of the locker room at halftime, maybe a minute or two later than you otherwise would. Just, obviously you were down by 3 or 4, whatever it was at halftime. Just, what was the team talk like in the locker room then? And then you guys go back down by 9 at some point in the third quarter. Just how did you turn the game around from that point?
Well, in halftime we're just trying to make adjustments. Things we have to shore up and improve and get better and talk to them about, what the rhythm of the game looks like. Those things I was talking about, Seth, with our gap support, being more active, having more activity around the ball, trying not to foul as much. It took us going down by 9 to have a really good heart-to-heart in that timeout. It was, I had to get after them, and they responded. And so, I thought Sid was great inside of that timeout as well. But and Khloe, I think, spoke up. It was a gut check time, but it was about pride, and being able to guard our man better, but also being able and willing to help each other guard the ball better. And so, yeah, it was. It took that timeout, I think, to get all of us back headed in the right direction.
But is this a game, Teri, where, in the second half your shots are still struggling to kind of get
Right.
offense?
Yeah.
You look back, you get the comeback. I mean, you stopped them for 5 minutes without a field goal. That's the kind of defensive identity you point to, maybe that stretch and say, look, this is what we need now going forward. I mean, is that
Oh, and there's no doubt, the whole start was a little funky, because of Sid with her earrings and then Jules and then the clock didn't start. I hated the start. I hated the beginning of the game. I thought, we were focused. We were ready to get out of the gates fast. And then the first thing we do is we get the tip and we go out and we turn it over, and then from there, they continue to gain confidence because, we weren't setting up our cuts. We weren't meeting our passes. They were making us uncomfortable. We just kept turning it over. But it took us to the second half to adjust. And, give our kids credit, but that's not the way we wanted to start, this game tonight. We knew that they were going to pressure us, and we didn't handle it very well. And, we also knew that we had to get stops. I mean, we take a lot of pride in that. This is a team, and I said it to Austin, that reminded me a lot of Murray. If you guys remember Murray State when they came in and they just want to score, But tonight, they were really good defensively, and like I said, we have to handle ourselves better, and that's me and our staff, and making sure that we haven't had a day off, and I'm not complaining. I'm saying when we do get a day off and we resume practice with a team that we don't want to fatigue and until we get back from Iowa, we got to have our scout team turn it up on us defensively, because we got to be able to adjust, but also execute our stuff in spite of being pressured. But I know your question was defensively, but yeah, I mean, we needed to be better. This is a team that averages right around 89 points. I wanted to keep them under 65. We missed that by 2, but we had really good moments, but then we had some moments where it was like, is anybody guarding anybody out there right now? And second half we were a little bit better.
Coach, you said that Penn State made you uncomfortable. So I guess going forward, first of all, how do you prevent your team from feeling uncomfortable like that again? But also, how can that maybe help you in future games?
Oh yeah, no doubt it's going to help us. And just what I said, it's a matter of we got to watch ourselves on film, but it's also a matter of what we have to do in practice. I'm a firm believer that what you emphasize in practice translates to the floor. So we got to be able to work against our scout guys and ask them to be more physical with us, more pressure, where we have to really work at setting our movement up, to come off of pin down screens. So we can get open, because we got to get the ball to the wing to start some of our stuff. And, we will, because, if you're scouting us right now, which I just said to my staff, it kind of reminded me of Miami last year in the NCAA tournament. They jumped on us, right, in that first half, and we were, kind of stumbled, playing on our heels. And so I don't want that to happen, right? And I'm going to try to make sure that we can prevent that happening by working on it right now as we move forward.
Teri, you said that Sid and Khloe kind of stepped up in that huddle when you took the timeout in the third quarter. What were the things they were saying to start the comeback?
Just, we got to have more pride. We're better than this. Everybody has to look at themselves and know that there's more to give. There's more that we can do, and we got to be connected, and we got to help each other. And so, I thought that they did a good job. It's one thing, I think, to come from me, but it's also, it's more powerful, I think, when it comes from your peers. And so they were very positive, probably more positive than I was, but they did a good job. And like I said, I'm proud of our guys because they responded.
How much did the crowd in the third and fourth quarter propel you guys to victory?
They always propel us. They always get us to the finish line when we need them the most. And they never, and I think they believe in, even though we were down 9, I don't, and that's when we really hurt them. And so, they've been so instrumental in a lot of these moments, for us when we have to play from behind, knowing when we need them. And so, I thought the energy, although, for a Wednesday night, not a bad night, but, the crowd was great once again, and we're grateful.
Teri, given all this discussion about your struggle tonight, at the same time, can you take a few seconds and reflect on being 5-0 in the league, and you won about 1 million games in a row?
Well, again, this feels a little bit different. Like you said, it still goes in the win column, right? And so we always do, Lou. We always find some really good things that we did. I thought the last possession, we took Khloe out, Bo came in. That last possession where they had called the timeout, I mean, we couldn't have guarded that action any better, all of them. And so being able to execute that was certainly positive, a positive way to end the game. And we'll find all kinds of things that, like, this was good, but we have still improvements to make, and there's always something that we can find that we have to improve before we go on the road this weekend.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that Sydney was instrumental and key in the huddle and that timeout earlier in the game that really turned things around for you guys. What specifically did she say, and have you seen her role off the court really change over the last few weeks?
Her role is not changed at all. Her role is, what Sid has always been able to provide. She's a high IQ kid, understands the game. She's a very positive teammate. She's a very positive kid. She gets frustrated with herself, but doesn't get her down. She plays on. She plays the next play. Again, I think she was just continuing to really challenge her team, to be better.
Penn State was pretty disruptive defensively in the first half. Sometimes it seemed like the double teams were off and on. Was there anything that they were running that was maybe unexpected and didn't come up in the scouting report?
Defensively?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. We knew that they were going to switch 1 through 4, jump switch, be high in the gaps, high in the passing lanes. We needed to be strong with the ball. We knew that they were going to dig on Mac, try to crowd Mac. There was going to always be a second defender and maybe a third defender, in proximity to Mackenzie. And so we talked a lot about, throwing it out, throwing skips, getting extra opportunities. We did that a couple times. We didn't do it near enough, but we weren't really surprised. We did change up our coverage, our ball screen coverage, in the second half. We were plugging in the first half, and then we bridged a little bit more hard hedged in the second half because they were going downhill. So that was one of the adjustments that we did make.
Yeah, Terry, in terms of looking ahead at Iowa, I just wanted to get your perspective, and I know you might talk about this later in the week, but to have a game, to be a part of a rivalry now that's one of the more consequential ones, not in just the Big Ten, but nationally, with you guys, where your programs are at, what is that like? And is that kind of slowly built, and what does this game sort of, mean to you now, this program, just how you guys have built it up, both programs with, Mackenzie and Caitlin and everything?
Sure. I mean, for us, it's the next game that's on our schedule, but, certainly, going to Iowa, I think especially with the way that we went in there last year and how it ended, the bitterness that we felt, with the unbelievable shot that Kate had to shoot to beat us. And so, I think it's just two really great programs that have great players inside of both respective programs that look forward to this. I mean, it's become a rivalry. That's what it's become. And I think the fact that, Kate has she's got so much attention right now on her. I think any game that she plays in is big, for the media, nationally, locally, I don't think it really matters. And so, we'll go in there with, the one thing about both programs is that we know each other quite well. I don't know that anybody has figured out how to guard Kate. I don't think anybody has done that, but, we'll make sure that, it'll be the sort of similar to, what we've done in the past. We've done a pretty decent job knowing that she's going to score. It's just those other guys, the Kate, the Martins and Gabby Marshall and Stolke now, not allowing them to, be a part of scoring a lot of points because we know Caitlin's going to get hers. And, I think it'll be a great, another test for us, but on the road, it'll be, sold out as all of their games are right now. And it'll be a game that we'll look forward to. Like I said, I think our kids will be excited about, playing on that stage, against a really good team.
Teri, two-part question here. First, Khloe left the game, like went to the locker room in the at the beginning of fourth quarter, came back out, still looked to be battling a little discomfort out there. Just,
Yeah.
I guess, how's she doing? What's her status there? And well, you can answer that.
Yeah, well, I haven't. She tweaked her ankle. Where was it? Florida? Where was it? She tweaked her ankle somewhere, and she's kind of been battling just some soreness, some just normal soreness in it. I think tonight, I think she retweaked it a little bit. So I asked her, look, if you need to come out, we'll bring you out, and she said she was fine. So, but that's just the toughness that Khloe, has. So I'm hopeful that when I get back down there, Seth, that Benjamin will tell me that it just needed a little bit of ice and tender love and care, and she'll be ready to go. So we know how important she's going to be on Saturday.
Yeah, and then you mentioned the turnovers. I think
Yeah.
for opening, and I mean, Khloe had a career high with 6, and I think this is 6 straight games
Yeah.
for Mackenzie with 3 or more now.
Yeah.
Just what's kind of been happening with these turnovers, and what do you need to do to?
Well, I think, we've asked Khloe to be more aggressive, and I think tonight there were probably a couple possessions where she would tell you that, yeah, that was too much. And then, we'll show her those. And the great thing about Khloe is that it doesn't take much for her to learn, that wasn't that, I can't do that. And so she'll make a better decision, I think, moving forward. But Mackenzie is, part of it is her footwork right now. Again, she gets a little bit sped up. You guys have heard me say that before. But she also, I think a couple of them were just mishandles too. And so, they know better. I don't have an answer for it other than our goal is to stay under 11 turnovers every night. And tonight we didn't do it. But as we move forward, whether it's Iowa, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's Michigan State, we know that ball security, getting the right, looks at the basket is really important in this league because all of them, you just can't, you can't allow yourself to not, to give up, opportunities at the rim. Because if you do, then, sure enough. And the other thing about turnovers like that, too, I thought we took a couple bad shots. Turnovers lead to runouts. We talk about that a lot, And so, and you guys know me. You've been around me for 9 years now. I hate the fact that we turned it over 20 times. We gotta do better. And we will. We will.